We are going to record this, everyone, just that for a playback, so that way folks who can't be here, you can share it out, or we can share out to them. Just give me 1 second. I think we are gonna get started. So welcome, everyone. My name is Billy Mooney. I am the Executive Director for the South Dakota After School Network. We have some exciting things to share with you all today. But I think to get the conversation going, something that we do with our teams, our team here is on Wednesdays, we have Wednesday wins. So if you could share in the chat room what your win is this week, we would love to hear it. It could be a personal one. It could be a professional one. It could be, I'm here. It could be, I lost 300 pounds this week. That sounds more like a divorce than anything else, but yeah. But yeah, we would love to hear what your wins are this week, because, well, it's just important to start on a positive note. And if anyone would like to share out their wins, please come off mute. We're going to give everyone just a couple minutes to let them share those out. I'm trying to think of what my win is this week. Oh, I can talk about it. I've been doing a lot of fitness lately, and guys, about 3 to 4 weeks ago, I couldn't do a single sit-up. That's the honest to God truth. And this week in one of my workouts, I did 50. That is, yes, a big win. Look at that. Sold a house on the mend, feeling better. Progress on your Google certification training course. That's awesome. For those just coming in, we are just sharing out what our Wednesday win this week is. So if you feel like it, please share in the chat box or come off mute and share what your win is. There's so much good stuff. Personal training is going great, making lots of progress. First bike ride. Let's see, way to go. My goodness. Such a big win. We've got some big wins. Anyway, without further ado, I think I'm going to pass the baton right now. Oh my gosh. And hand it over to Dr. Pam Lang, who is with the Black Hills Special Services Co-op, and she is going to share out some information.
Thanks, Billy. I appreciate everybody joining us today. We are very excited to share some of our exciting news about our new project in Path2Impact. I'm just going to kick us off, and then Dawn Marie is actually going to share about this pathway. So Black Hills Special Services Cooperative was asked to actually lead a large project for our after school and summer school program providers. And within that process, we reached out to Billy and asked if the South Dakota After School Network would like to join us in this endeavor. And we created a collaboration to begin this great work. And so I think that was back in March. And so this is kind of our first showing everybody what we have come up with and what the work will look like. So this is a project. It is in partnership with the South Dakota Department of Education with some ESSER funds that they have. It's a 3-year project. And really the focus of this is 3 different pathways. So today you're going to learn about the leadership development pathway, which is, again, Dawn Marie will really talk about that. In August, we'll be sharing about the onboarding and training pathway, which really is going to be just a collection of resources, how our site coordinators out there can not only recruit, but retain staffing. And we're going to just create this collection of, a large collection of resources that will be easy for staff members and directors as they kind of move through the hiring process, but then also developing and keeping their staff. And then in September, you'll learn about our content build pathway, which will be really just an open resource of a ton of different South Dakota made, but then also content resources from really a lot of just great sources. The goal there will be to have a one-stop shop for curriculum materials, summer staffing, processes, and different things on the content build. So again, hopefully you'll join us in August and September for those fireside chats. As I said, it's a 3-year timeline, and Dawn Marie is going to talk about what that timeline looks like. Jeannie and Billy are online, but they are, so Jeannie McKinnon and myself are leading on the BHSSC side. Actually, mostly Jeannie is the project director overseeing this. And then Billy from SDAN is also a part of the project director team. And so we both have, I think, 4 to 6 employees each working on this project. And it's been a great collaboration just getting it started. So the leadership development pathway that you're going to learn about today is Dawn Marie and from SDAN, and then Desi Keller from BHSSC, and then of course Billy. And so I am actually going to turn it over to Dawn Marie who will start to share just kind of high level of the overview of the leadership development pathway. But we're excited to share this, and we hope that you will consider applying. And also we'll be reaching out for some content builds and onboarding and training pathways. If we haven't already reached you guys, we'll be asking for individuals who want to jump on board and join us in October to help with some of that work as well. So more to come on that, but Dawn Marie, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Awesome. Can you guys hear me okay? Cool. So I want to give a disclaimer that I'm on the mend from a little respiratory thing, have a little cough, so I don't always sound like this. So when you join the leadership track, I won't sound like a barking dog half the time. But I'm Dawn Marie Johnson. I'm the Director of Leadership and Culture for the South Dakota After School Network. I've been in after school for 10 years in the realm. I've worked with children, family, communities in urban, rural, and reservation settings for approximately 15 years. So when I had the opportunity to join SDAN and take on the role of leadership and culture, it just felt right that I take on this pathway for the leadership cohort. So we have really exciting introduction today, and I'm looking forward to sharing this out with you. Like she mentioned, we have a 3-year timeline. The process, we're going to be asking communities all across South Dakota to apply, and the first cohort will take place in the fall of 2022, which is coming up, and then the second cohort in the spring at the end, and then we're looking for a minimum of 35 people per cohort. I'll get into each one. So Billy, if you could go to the next slide so I can really dive into it. So when I was looking forward to starting this, I was reflecting on my own journey as a leader. And when I think back to the process of how we give so much, just working with people, just working in your communities, just working with children day in and day out, we focus so much on pouring into the community, and we need to recognize who's pouring into us. So a big motto that I've adopted is a better you is a better for everyone. So when we're looking at the first cohort and tapping into those higher level of leaders, people who might be in the directorship role, the management role, we want to make sure that you're being well taken care of so you can be managing your staff, taking care of what you need to take care of, not just in the workplace, but at home too. And I think that's really valuable, and it's a really good life skill to have, just so we can, forward progress always. But taking care of ourselves first is going to be a huge component of this first cohort. And I'm really excited to start sharing that out. But if you could go to the next slide, it'll share some of the focus areas. And these focus areas came from a few listening sessions that the team has done across the state already with program leaders. They went in and they interviewed staff, they interviewed managers, and these were some of the key ones that they were looking at to build upon. So active supervision, building partnerships, classroom management, communication skills, confidence, creating a healthy culture, defining success. What does success mean to you? Grant management, we know that's a big one right now, especially with the government coming down with so many supports for after school and summertime funding. What does that look like? How can we help you build that out? Staff retention, that's a huge one too, because again, if you're not tapping into you being a better version of yourself, how are you going to pour into your staff in the best way you possibly can? So self-care really rounds that out into taking care of yourself and managing those areas. So those are the focus areas, and we'll be going into those by means of having monthly either virtual sessions, or we'll do some one-on-one coaching, because I feel like each person that gets into this is going to have different areas that they're going to want to hone in on and really pay attention to. And I will be alongside you to kind of guide you through that process and ensure that you're getting the most out of the resources and content, and tapping into us as a resource, connecting you to people to make sure that you feel comfortable in each of those areas to build yourself up as a leader. So here's the next one. So cohort 2. The idea of cohort 2 is to then look to those who are group leaders, look to those who might be underneath the directors and managers, and seeing how you guys can collaborate together to continue to build out, and you as a manager lead out some of that experience that you gain from this process, and maybe select somebody to follow in those footsteps so you guys kind of have a cohesive way of working together, and they can get some of those extra tools in hopes of that staff retention, right? We want to make after school a profession. We want to make this something people want to do as a lifelong career. So this cohort 2 is going to dive more into the leadership development, growth mindset, again with the self-care, always so important, especially coming out of the pandemic. Everybody needs those little self-care pick-me-ups. Engaging with families and students for success. What does that look like in an after-school program? How do we tap into the daytime curriculum to make sure that we're being repetitive and building the retention of knowledge from the daytime into after school? That can be incredibly challenging. So looking at the lesson plans, as we know, after-school group leaders are really talented and skilled at building lesson plans, but let's take it to that next level and use the upcoming resources of the curriculum that are going to be leading out in, I think, January, and build that in. So de-escalation strategies, I know that's it's a topic that some programs really struggle with, especially when we look at after school and it's not as structured. So how do we help you set those expectations in the classroom when it might not have been as such in previous times? Classroom management, social and emotional learning, and OST, always big topics. Again, with the pandemic, kids are hurting, staff are hurting. How do we build you back up? So that's the idea for cohort 2. The next one, I'm excited for this. Like I said, between the first cohort and the second cohort, we want to pair people up. Ideally, from cohort 1, we will recognize those who are really diving into this process, who's really honing in on the resources, tapping into the extra supports, and who's coming up as a leader, not just in their program, but maybe even statewide. We want to set them up, the cohort 1 folks, to mentor cohort 2. Ideally, I'd take everybody and have one-on-one pairings. I think that would be so amazing. But I get time restraints and such. But the minimum requirements for that would be to reach a minimum of the 40 hours in the fall or spring session, participate in additional opportunities, day at the Capitol. Big opportunity for all of us to come together and really build up the profession and showcase all the awesome work we're doing in the legislative sessions. Fireside chats like this, they're posted monthly, and others to be determined. So those mentors who commit to working with cohort 2 for at least 10 hours will have the opportunity to apply for grants to attend a national conference. Overall, we can see this building out and those leaders becoming folks who maybe come in and speak at different conferences. Maybe they share their experience in this leadership cohort and how and what it meant to them and the value that it brought to them, and they can share that out with other states. That would be an ideal way of looking at this, to leading this out and putting South Dakota on the map for doing something really cool and building up after school professionals. Go to the next one. So leadership cohort 1, it will begin at the South Dakota School Age Care Alliance conference. It'll be before it begins, so October 4th, I believe, is a Tuesday, and we'll have you come in early, and we will dive in day 1 in a 6-hour session of the power of culture. And when I mean the power of culture, the question of what are the attributes of a healthy work culture, not just work, but also in your home life. What does that look like? Success mindset and awareness. What does a successful day look like to you? How are you building a successful day to have a successful life? The next day, October 5th, effective communication. We'll do some role play and conflict resolution. I know it can be uncomfortable, but it's such an incredible skill to have, especially in the management position or director position. Power of coaching. Who will be your people you're leading out to as you lay the example, especially if you're going to ask somebody in your program to take on cohort 2. Who are going to be your next gen leaders? Who are you tapping into to lead out what you've learned from this program to build up an entire culture and an entire program to be the best it can be? So that's what the first get together will look like. Like I said, beyond that, we will do a couple virtual sessions and we'll do some one-on-one coaching with me. And then in April of the following year, 2023, we'll get together and we'll convene and talk about what we've learned, areas we still might need to expand on, but get together again one more time at the end. I'm really excited for this partnership with Think 3D Solution. It has a little layout of what they're known for, and I've personally gone through two of their programs that has helped me as a leader. Again, I found myself in a space where I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't being the best version of me. I wasn't doing the right things to make sure that I was taking care of my students, taking care of my home life. And this program has really helped me manage my time, manage what success looks like to me, manage the culture in and out of my house and in programs that I'm a part of. So I really look to them for advice when setting up stuff like this, and they will be joining us for the 4th and the 5th as our opener, and that is going to be such a great opportunity. Fortunately, I have a little testimony video, and this will give my voice a little break to finish this out. But it's sharing out really how I felt after going through the process. And like I said, leading this out has been incredibly important to me to build people up around me. So Billy, if you could share that, that would be wonderful.
My self-doubt was always stopping me. I thought too much in my head to the point where I wouldn't try for things that I knew would benefit me and my family. My confidence was pretty low. Being able to look myself in the eye and truly believe the positive things I was saying was key for me, not only as like a mom, but in my professional world, to know, hey, you are important, you are good at what you do, and you are making an impact. And I don't feel I could have done that, said that, felt it, meant it, even a year ago. When you're a teacher or anything within an education system, we talk about, oh, let's be strength-based, let's be strength-based, like, let's build these kids up, let's build the family up, let's build the community up, doing all these things for others, but never ourselves. So when I look at it and I'm like, I need to be strength-based as a whole, not just when I walk into the building and in face-to-face with my students. I need to walk into my house being strength-based for my daughter, for myself, every single day. And this program helped me do that. Now I'm able to focus in on goals and not be so scattered. I feel like I'm a better mom. I feel like I'm a better educator, mentor, but I also feel like I'm a better community member. Like I can really set time aside to better our community and do things that'll benefit everyone as a whole, including my family. But that's a really difficult question, and it's going to be ongoing, but with these tools, I can keep going, can keep evolving. But I want to be running the show someday. I'm really passionate about community work and striving to help children and families. I want to oversee something that's going to make a big impact. The Leaders of Tomorrow program has directly benefited me as a whole, not just professionally, but personally. This is a selfless work. Education, you're giving, running all the time. And this has taught me how to take a beat, think of myself, my family, look around me. What am I striving for? What can I do? What will I do? And it would be really important for everybody to take this and be a part of something like this, to be a part of that community. I'm Dawn Marie, and I'm a better leader for a better tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, I'm just realizing now that I manifested working here and having the title of Director in Leadership and Culture. How many words did you hear nugget drop? That was made last November, I think. So I've only been in this position since the end of May. So it's really incredible even seeing my own transition from that video to now. And just to round this out, again, I don't sound like this every day, thank goodness. But I really appreciate you guys tapping in, and I look forward to sharing this out more. Billy, I believe there's a couple links to share in the chat box for our live application from today. We have our Path to Impact Facebook group that is now live as well. But I really want to know what questions you guys had. I think Billy was going to take over from here. Again, give my voice a little break. But everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to hearing from you guys and seeing you in October.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Samri, for kind of taking the lead on that and really just, I don't know, just kind of sharing that out. Appreciate that. So that is really helpful. What I really want to do right now is kind of open things up for a little bit of Q&A, because that was a lot of information to share with you. And I wouldn't say we know every single detail of every single thing just yet, because this is uncharted territory, really, for school age. So let's just start with questions. If you have a question, maybe raise your hand, come off mute, put it into the chat, kind of just to explain a little bit. This will be of no cost to you guys. So if you apply and are selected, we will cover the expenses, the mileage to get there. Your meals will be covered. The hotels will be covered. Any type of supplies, so books and workbooks and things like that. If it's going to be part of the program, we are going to, the project is going to cover those costs, the Path to Impact piece. I did put in the chat box the Facebook group for Path to Impact. I think that's a great way to stay connected and how you can learn more. We'll certainly be pushing out deadlines and everything like that. But who has some questions? I'm pretty sure there's people on our team that still have questions. So let's start with that, or even tell us like what you're excited about, even if maybe we just need to have some conversation and share some excitement or some nervousness about what that looks like. I mean, raise your hand if you know somebody you need to apply or you need to apply yourself, right? The application will open immediately after this, and then we'll send some emails out when that goes. But before we get into the application process, what questions do you guys have? Let's start with that. See a lot of familiar.
How many people can participate in the 2 cohorts?
The idea is we total want at least 70 to 75 professionals through the program for the next 3 years. If you divide that out, about 35 per cohort, but it's going to give or take, right? We don't know exactly how that's going to land, but the ultimate goal is 70 to 75 people. That's a lot. That's really, really a lot. A big impact, we think. So great question. Thank you, Billy. What other questions do you guys have? Are you just like ready to be like, Billy, zip it, give us the application, let's go. We don't need to hear anymore.
I guess I have a question, Billy.
Yes, Jody.
So this would require coming to the SODAC-SACA conference 2 days early is what you guys were talking about?
Yes, that's correct. So
Okay.
usually, typically on the SODAC-SACA, you would come in on a Thursday evening, kind of that pre-conference, and then you'd have conference Friday, Saturday. This would be coming in. We've discussed like kind of that Tuesday evening, Tuesday process, and then spending Wednesday. But it would be in the same location as the conference. So.
Okay, I guess my only concern is being away from my program that long.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm really excited about it. I just, with staffing the way it is, it could be difficult, but I understand the convenience of putting it together.
Yeah, it's a hard decision to make, to say like, should we have it on we had so many discussions. Should we have it a different week? Should we have it this week? I think at the end of the day, we said, well, it would probably be easier. We think, we don't know for sure, if you're going to be gone for a couple extra days.
Okay.
Rather base it out. That was our goal. And maybe we missed the mark, Jody, but I think we're going to try it out this first cohort and see if that aligns well, or if that doesn't align well. Right. And we can adjust.
Yep. Totally
based on
understand.
That. Yeah. Yes. Great question though. It is tough. It's tough. It's a real commitment to just kind of step away from your program. We acknowledge that. Any other questions? Anyone?
I see Mark popped in late.
Mark popped in, yes.
But I really, Mark, we need to link up after this so I can get you caught up.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah,
Don,
this is
I
a
also
great
popped in
committee.
late and I'd be interested to hear more. What does cohort 1 entail and who does that impact?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And I have both your numbers, so why don't I
Yeah.
get
Perfect.
in touch with you guys after this?
And there will be emails that go out, and we can follow those up with the slide deck and the recording of this video, along with the application link. So that way, for those who maybe aren't here today, that you really want to share this with, they'll be able to kind of at least review the information. I think that would be really, really key. So.
And I don't want you guys to be afraid to just reach out to me directly and ask questions. I'm really going to be here with you guys along this whole process. So let's start now, right? Yeah.
I have to say, in working in this field for over 20 years, I've never seen an investment into leadership building specifically for school age folks ever. And this opportunity might be the most exciting thing I've gotten to participate in what that looks like. So really, really big, tremendous steps. And we acknowledge that you need to kind of that like leadership management 3 years plus, those are the guidelines. So make sure that if you feel like you're on the cusp, always apply, right? But also if you've been here for 20 some years, maybe you need like a new kick in the butt like me, right? Like, so doing a program like this might be really great new perspectives. So highly encourage that as well. Right. Well, I think I'm going to post the link to the application. People can start kind of pulling that up and looking at what that is. It's going to be, you're not going to see too much, but there's a lot of information on the first page, which we'll be happy to walk through. I think we will continue to hang around and let folks ask some questions. But we can probably stop the recording now. And then we can probably just hang around